Welcome back to Cherry Picking Trivia. Today we have 2 truths and 1 lie with Babs and Sura. I'll be running Sura. He'll be running Babs. They have 30 seconds to answer each. Let's see who wins.
All right, Babs, here we are. 2 truths and a lie, NHL edition. Let's jump right in. We've got the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Let's see how well you can do.
We will go to Team 1 with the Boston Bruins.
Single season goals at 76. Ray Bourque has the most points all time at 1506. Patrice Bergeron has the most shorthanded goals of all time at 22. Is this all time like in a season?
Bergeron is lifetime. The rest, Bourque is obviously lifetime.
Yeah.
Single season.
Ooh, okay.
15 seconds.
Ray Bourque played forever, so I'm going to say number 3 sounds like the lie.
I'm going to go number 2 is a lie.
1 point on the board, 1 for 1 with Babs. I believe it is Phil Esposito as well with shorthanded goals. It's an old-timer, maybe John Busick, but it is 24, I believe, is record.
Ray Bourque was fucking nasty.
Ray Bourque was also very nasty. I mean, kind of overlooked as maybe one of the best, like the best defenseman of all time.
Yeah, no, that's a fair statement.
Right? I mean, you think Lidstrom, you think Orr.
And he left, and he's still beloved by Boston anyway.
Yep, that's right.
0 for 1, unfortunately, but that's all right. Number 2 with the Buffalo Sabres.
Okay, Sabres. McGillney was drafted in 1998 by the Sabres, defected to the States. That's true. I mean, the year might be wrong, but I think that is true. Buffalo has the most coaches ever all time. It's number 2, I think, is the law as picked. Yes, I'm going to say number 2. I think number 1 is correct.
I'm going to go with number 1. It was number
Lie
2.
is number 2.
That seemed way too specific. That was so dumb.
Number 2 is the lie.
Yes.
2 for 2 for Babs.
If you haven't watched the Alexander McGillney documentary,
It's
I
great.
highly recommend it.
It's great.
It's like a fucking spy movie.
Yeah, I don't think he defected in 1988. He was drafted in 1988. I think he defected in 89 or 90.
Yeah.
But there was a whole thing where he left immediately following a win, snuck onto a plane,
Yeah, they
and flew to Buffalo, smuggled them out after a win.
Yeah.
We go to number 3, 0 for 2, Sura so far. It's all right.
Collected 5 Russian players from the Olympic team. Okay, that's sort of they had a bunch of Russians. They got a lot of flack for that.
In the 90s, Gordie Howe has 200 career points over his 25 years. The Red Wings, along with the Rangers, were the 5 out of 6 final teams to join the NHL.
The 5th and 6th.
5th and 6th final teams to join the NHL in 1926. I'm going to go with number 1 is the lie.
I'm going to say 2 is the lie. He had more playoff points than that, but fuck, if it's 3, I'm going to be really mad.
2, I believe, is the lie. He had less than 200 points. I think he was around.
It was going to be more.
He was around 100. He's around 156. So his runs with the Wings in the playoffs were good. They weren't long. You didn't know the Russian 5 in the 90s?
Well, no, I thought when I read that first, I thought it was right, but Gordie Howe is played till he was 60. So like,
all right, on to question number 4. Timer starts now.
The Florida Panthers, so the past 3 years are the first in the finals.
they have only ever drafted defenseman first overall. Rob Niedermeyer was the first player ever selected. There's no way. Fuck. I'm gonna go number 2 is a lie.
No, number 1 is the lie. They made it back in the early days.
Number 1 is a lie. I believe it was their second ever
I should have read
year.
them all first because one could have I can't do that again. Okay.
Rob Niedermeyer being the first ever player selected to Florida is very funny. It's a good start.
It's a great start. Nothing better. We'll go to number 5.
Yep.
Okay, Montreal Canadiens, Jean Beliveau is the longest tenured captain with 10 years. The first ever captain was not born in Quebec. Maurice Richard has the most game-winning goals with 84. I'm assuming that's in franchise history.
Yes.
10 years as captain is a long time, but number 2 seems like the most incorrect one, but back in the day, things were weird.
I'm going to go with
5 seconds.
I'm going to go with number 1 is a lie.
2 is my gut answer.
The correct answer is number 3.
Number 3 is the lie. Right, sir.
John Beliveau, I also believe, has the most game-winning goals, something up in the 90s. The first ever captain, I believe, was from Brockville. But it was interesting. They have a lot of captains that weren't, even Canadian captains early on, that were not born in Quebec. I would think, considering they have a rule with coaches, that is, a coach must be born in Quebec.
Yeah, I just logically, that was the easiest way to go about that one.
And Saku Koivu actually
forever.
tenure for 9 years.
9 years? Yeah.
10 years, 9 seasons.
9 seasons, yeah.
Not bad, though. Still 4 for 5. Heading out a good
Go play
clip.
for the Ducks after.
On to question number 6.
Ottawa Senators.
Ottawa Senators, after his rookie year, following 5 years, Marian Hossa never had less than 30 goals. Danny Heatley scored 50 in 2 separate occasions. Yeah, 50. I believe that's correct. It's 1507, and I think it was the year after. Chris Neal played over 1,000 games with the Senators.
I'm gonna go with number 2 is a lie.
Hossa was injured at some point. So number 1 has to be the incorrect answer because he was hurt and didn't play a full season.
Number 1 is the correct
Yeah.
answer. He had 29 his second year, and after that, always had 30.
Sick.
It's okay. We still got lots of teams.
On to question number 7.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa has 2 primary logos throughout their whole existence. Steven Stamkos is the only player with 400 goals, let alone 500. Vasilevsky is the franchise leader in save percentage. I want to say Tampa has had more than 2 primary logos, but alternate logos is what's going to fuck me on this one. I'm just going to say number 1 is that was what my initial gut was. I don't have time to think about it.
Number 2 is a lie.
Ben Bishop is the franchise leader in save percentage.
Ben Bishop is the franchise leader in save percentage.
Okay.
So that's the lie.
Vassie's been good for so long, I just logically assumed that there's a Tampa Bay one. I think maybe it was one of their alternate jerseys where it had like a bit more of a pizzazz. I think there was like orange in it.
Ben Bishop, like, what's the qualify?
I don't know.
1 game?
No, fuck no. Come on. Ben Bishop's there forever.
The 2 goalies you think of when you think of Tampa are Vasilevsky and Happy Bulin. You don't think of fucking Ben Bishop.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Dude, Ben
Anyway,
Bishop went to the
I was
cup
wrong.
with them in 2015.
Did they win?
No.
The Leafs.
No Maple Leaf has ever had 100 points just with the Leafs alone. Austin Matthews was the first overall. Ty Domi has nearly.
Number 2 is gotta be a lie.
Gosh, I'm getting the Leafs one wrong will be embarrassing, but
Which one do you want to go with here?
I'm gonna go. Fuck, I don't know. Number 1 is the lie.
Number 2 is the lie. I believe Daryl Sittler was the first overall pick.
Number 2 is the lie. We got one down here.
Fuck you, Babs.
Wendell Clark and Austin Matthews were the 2 first overall picks. I thought that one would have been pretty. I thought you would have got Wendell Clark.
No,
on that.
honestly, I just got tripped up with the third one and
Yeah,
then was
that's
like
fair.
didn't read through enough.
All right, on to question number 9.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Sebastian Aho is already top 3 in all-time points. Ron Francis. Whoa, that's weird. Ron Francis had more career points with the Penguins than he did with the Hurricanes.
Tessios was the first ever draft pick under the Carolina Hurricanes.
That's
Yeah.
under the Carolina Hurricanes, not the Hartford Whalers.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say number 1 might be the lie.
Number 2 is a lie.
Number 2 is the lie.
I don't know who fucking Nico Celios is, but that sounds right.
Number 1 is true. Number 2 is the lie. Ron Francis had something stupid with the Hurricanes. He had like 415 plus point seasons. I think Ron Francis is the most underrated player of all time. 5th all time points. Nobody talks about him. All right, on to question number 10.
Columbus
Total
Blue
6
Jackets.
Playoff appearances. Has never had a player with 50 goals.
The Blue Jacket. I'm trying to think of them ever being really crazy good. They've had some great players. They've had Fedorov, Nash.
5 seconds.
I'm gonna go with number 3 is a lie.
Number 3 is the lie.
Panarin had 87. That's their highest.
Number 1 is the lie.
Number 1 is true. Number 3 is the lie.
I was
Artemi Panarin had 87 points. And that is the record. I believe in his second year with Columbus, he had 87 points.
All right, here we go. 3 in a row. The New Jersey Devils.
Time
New
starts
Jersey
now.
Devils were once the Colorado Avalanche. Number 1's the lie.
There's no way that. I'm gonna go with number 1 is the lie because there's no way. There's just no way.
Number
I
1
would
is
be
the lie.
shocked.
They were the Colorado Rockies.
Really?
They were the Colorado Rockies.
Rockies, yeah. I remember the logo was a little triangle thing.
Yeah.
That's actually a good retro logo.
All-time retro logo. My dad was with the Rockies for his first year, and he's got that jersey. It's pretty sweet.
All right, 4 in a row. Now we
go.
go. Here we go. New York Islanders.
Okay, Brian Tautier has 500 goals on the dot. Billy Smith is the only Islanders goalie with over 200 wins. Have 5 straight forwards in the first round. Higgins was the last pick in the first round, I think the Islanders took.
Have drafted 5 straight forwards in the first round. Yzerman. Ooh. Oh, was Dobson a first round pick? I don't think so.
I'm going to say that number 1 will be the lie here.
I'm gonna go number 2 is lie.
You had it.
You had number 3. Dobson was a first round pick.
The lie is number 3. Noah Dobson was the 4th last draft pick. He's a defenseman.
Oh, the Islanders drafted James Higgins, and then Noah Dobson.
They haven't drafted. Higgins is this year. The last 5 straight drafts they've drafted forwards. It's like you're thinking of the other guy at BC.
Cole Iserman.
Cole Iserman, yes.
Iserman.
It's like Iserman, Simone Holmstrom, Zachary Bolduc, or another French guy.
Oh, so it's not 5 in a row.
It's not 5 in a row
Yeah,
because Dobson was a first rounder.
Dobson, okay.
All right, the Rangers.
Multiple players over 60 points on the 2014 Cup run. They're selected first overall twice.
I don't think Chris Drury was ever the captain. I'm gonna go number 3 as a lie.
Okay, I'm going to say 2 is the lie. Maybe they've selected first overall more than that because the other 2 sound like they're good.
Number 1 is the lie.
Fuck.
I believe it was 19. It was in the 60s. Or like early on in the draft, they had drafted first overall, and then obviously Lafreniere. Chris Drury was the captain prior to McDonough, I believe, 2008, 2009, 2010ish, and they had nobody. Zuccarello had 58 points on that 2014 Cup run team. That's what made it. They were a good team. Obviously, had won the President's Trophy, but their depth was unbelievable.
Spread the points around.
Spread the points around. Didn't have any high flyers, but made a cup run. On to question number 13.
The Flyers.
Stanley Cup after the original 6 era. Bobby Clark once recorded over 150 points in a single season for the Flyers.
The Flyers were involved in the longest game in NHL modern day history, I believe. That's one of the playoff overtime games that went crazy. So that's true. Some were deciding between Flyers winning the Cup after the original 6. I know they won a pile of them, and
5 seconds.
close to when the Leafs era died.
I'm gonna go number 1, a lie.
So I want to say Bobby Clark never went over 150 points
That is correct.
because the Flyers' run was right after the original 6 era.
Correct.
Or Broad Street Bullies era was
Yep.
then.
All right, Pittsburgh Penguins, clock starts now.
Okay, Pittsburgh Penguins, they once had Mario and Sid on the ice. Yeah, they did. Penguins have never drafted first overall more than once. Crosby, Fleury. I don't think Malcolm was not first overall. Is there anybody else in here?
Number 2 is like they've only drafted first overall once. Yes. That's a lie.
Number 2 has to be because they have 2 for sure. I'll cry.
Number 2 is the correct answer.
You're right, sir. Good job. There we go.
Fleury and Crosby were both first overall
Yeah.
picks.
On to the last team, I believe, in the Eastern Conference, which is the Washington Capitals.
Washington Capitals. Ovi has scored more career goals against the Flyers than any other team. The Capitals' first ever draft pick was a Hall of Famer. Washington won its first Stanley Cup on the road.
First ever Stanley Cup on the road. I'm pretty sure that is true. Pretty sure they won it in Vegas. I'm gonna go number 2's a lie.
2 is the lie.
Number 2 is the lie. Their first ever draft pick was not a Hall of Famer.
And now we go to the West. The Anaheim Ducks.
Mike Babcock coached the Ducks. The Ducks have won 2 Stanley Cups, one in the Perry and Getzlaf era, and one the Korea era. Corey Perry won the Morris Richard and Art Ross in the same year.
Just let the time run out and tell me when it's done.
Okay. 8 seconds.
Because I think he went Cincinnati
Yep.
to Detroit.
All right, time is
Okay, I'm
up.
going to say the number 1's the lie.
I'm gonna go with 1.
They've only won 1 cup. They only won in 06,
Mike Babcock,
07.
he was the head coach?
He was the head coach for like 2 years.
Fuck! They only won the cup with Pronger. And that was the first one they ever won.
didn't win with Korea.
They didn't win Korea, that's right.
That is such an embarrassing answer for me. Mike Babcock did coach the Ducks for not for long though, right?
For long, it was 2 years, I think.
2 years. There it is. All right, on to the
Full
Oilers.
thinking I had time.
Clock starts now.
That's so embarrassing. Oilers were founded entered in 1972. They were the first team to feature 3 players with 50 goals in one season. The Oilers hosted the 2003 Heritage Classic. No, I don't think the Oilers joined because they were in the World Hockey Association. So number 1 is the lie.
5 seconds.
Hosted the 2003 Heritage Classic, the first regular season outdoor game in NHL's history.
That is time.
I'm gonna go
Let's
number
get a
2.
guess.
I can't believe that Anaheim Ducks won. They're
Number
literally-
1 is the lie.
They were founded in 72, and they went to the WHA, and then they didn't go to the NHL until 79.
Yeah. Fuck, that Ducks one is bad.
The Calgary Flames.
Originally named the Atlanta Flames. Mike Grayson's the most wins as a goalie for Flames. Joe McGinley has the most points all time for the franchise.
Iginla played forever, so that sounds like it'd be the most logically correct. I know that they were the Atlanta Flames before they moved, so number 2 would be, in my mind, the lie. How much time?
You got 5 seconds.
I'm gonna go with number 1's a lie.
3,
They've
2,
had a lot of different goalies,
1.
so maybe Mika has the record. I'll say 2 is the lie.
2 is the lie. It is Mika Kiprusoff.
They were called the Atlanta Flames. Mika Kiprusoff has the most wins for the goalies in Flames history.
On to the next one. Clock starts now.
Okay, LA Kings. Gretzky never led the Kings in points throughout his stint there.
Since the team was founded in '69, they've gone through 3 different color schemes in their logo and jerseys.
The team went bankrupt in 1995. It would be insane if Gretzky never led the team in points.
I'm going to go number 1 is a lie.
I'll say one's the lie.
Number 1 is the lie.
Another point on the boards
They
for
went
Babs. They did go bankrupt in 1995. That
And then
is
somebody
correct.
bought them out. Okay.
Yep.
Gretzky
go.
did lead the team. in
Western
point.
Conference. Nailed it.
Here we go.
San Jose Sharks have won the President's Trophy. I believe they won, and they were a cursed team, I think. Todd McClellan in 2014 went to training camp without naming a captain and said the players will earn the captaincy. Joe Thornton was named captain in 2014. Okay, number 2 is so specific. They switched captains up at some point. So is number 3... I'm going to say number 3 is a lie because somebody else became captain. So no, number 3 is a lie, right?
I'm going to go with 3 is a lie.
3 is the lie. They did not name a captain that season. They named Marlowe the captain the following year. They had 4 assistants.
Sharks have definitely won a President's Trophy. So only
They
thing they
definitely
can do.
have. Yeah.
Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas Golden Knights.
Clock
Mark Stone
starts-
was the first official captain of the Vegas Golden Knights. Derek Eklund served as the unofficial captain for the Cup run in their first year.
That kind of sounds right. The really goalie tandem for the Golden Knights was Marc-Andre Fleury and Aiden Hill. That's not right. 3 is a lie.
Number 3 is a lie. Aiden Hill wasn't there yet.
That is correct. Another point on the board.
Like the Ducks played the Devils in the Stanley Cup final.
That's
and I
when
was like,
Steven
that
killed
popped into my
Terry.
head for a second. And then I'm like, I watched a documentary talking about the team being sold like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Seattle Kraken.
Climate Pledge Arena was originally used by Seattle Supersonics. James Schwartz was the inaugural captain for the team. The team's first free agent signing was Alex Wenberg.
Who was their original captain? Number 2, I want to feel like is just going to be I can't remember who.
10 seconds.
I can't remember who the Kraken's captain was. And maybe it's potentially changed. So
2 and
number 2 is the
1.
lie, I'm guessing.
Inaugural captain, like
First
wore
ever.
the C?
First ever C.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
I honestly didn't think the Supersonics would.
Supersonics did play a climate pledge. It was Mark Giordano.
Yeah.
That was the original captain.
On to 24. A little bit of a heater here. 6 in a row.
No, it's an embarrassing heater. The fucking Ducks. The Chicago Blackhawks. Patrick Kane scored an overtime game-winning goal. Yeah, Flyers. I believe that's that season. The Blackhawks started the 12-13 season, breaking a record for most points. That sounds sort of right.
I think number 1 is a lie because I think it's the wrong year.
10 seconds.
Number 3 seems wrong, but that's a lot of wins. But I know they went on a run at some point.
All right.
Number 2, it seems like too many wins. Am I wrong?
Believe it's number 3.
The Oilers have Keith's contract now.
They also did go on a stupid run. I actually remember that.
That is the right year. It was 2010 finals. The Oilers had Keith's contract the last couple years, but he's paid off now.
Okay.
All right. On to number 25.
The Colorado Avalanche.
Quebec Nordiques, the original franchise name, entered the NHL with the Oilers, Jets, and the Whalers. The Avs won the President's Trophy in all the years that the Avs won the Cup. That's a lie.
That is a lie.
Number 2 is the lie. I'm out to lunch.
That is
Cool.
correct. Back on the board.
If you watch Saving Sakic on Prime, it's
Yeah,
also
it's a
a
good
very
one.
good documentary.
Rangers offer sheeted them.
Yeah,
That would have been crazy.
this is gonna be the summer of offer sheets.
Yes,
We'll
it
do
is.
That all over again.
All right. Next team, the Dallas Stars. Clock starts
Dallas
now.
Stars.
The Stars have over double Canadians and Americans on their roster. I guess that would make sense.
The Dallas Stars are one of the teams that have surprisingly never won a Stanley Cup. It's number 2. They've won a cup.
Oh, shit. I'm going to go 1 is wrong. Is a lie.
The Stars have a cup.
When?
One championship in 99.
Number 2 is correct. The good old crease violation.
The Ducks won, and like the least one, I got confused on the questions and then panicked. But God,
All right. On to the next.
Minnesota Wild.
the
Clock
Wild,
starts
founded in
now.
2000, have been at X. Yeah, yes. I think that sounds correct. Brand new arena, brand new team. In both their minor league teams in the AHL and these both are located in Iowa. Iowa Heartlanders. That sounds. I'm pretty sure that is correct.
Team was a President's Trophy in 2007, 2008. Ooh, this one's tough.
XL Energy Center has to be.
10
It's
seconds.
The insane. Both their teams are in Iowa. It was the Iowa Chops. Now it's like the Heartlanders, and then the one with the deer on it.
And
I think so.
one.
Number 3 is the lie.
I'm going to go 3 is a lie.
3 is the lie. They won the Central in 07 and 08, but they did not win the President's Trophy.
That is
What's
correct.
the ECHL team?
Is it the Heartlanders? Because
then the AHL team's the Wild. It's Iowa.
the AHL team's
Iowa
also
Wild,
Wild.
and they were something else before. The Iowa Chops, I think, was what they were called at
They
one point.
won the Central in 07, but they didn't win the President's Trophy.
All right, coming down to it here.
Nashville Predators.
Sisters were originally going to relocate to Nashville, but that ended up falling through.
Bridgestone Arena opened originally to bring the New Jersey Nets, an expansion team, as a pivot to the Devils. Preds played their first ever game in Japan.
3's a lie.
The Japan thing seems so weird to say, but it seems like the most wrong. I'm not sure. I'm going to say 3.
3 is not the lie. They did do that. The second one is just completely made up. They had no interest in the NBA at all with Bridgestone Arena. We will go St. Louis.
San Diego Gulls are the affiliate, I believe, of the Ducks. The Blues have the most conference final appearances outside the original 6 teams. The St. Louis Eagles, their original name, were actually in the Canadian division. Oh, fuck.
I'm going to go 1 is a lie.
The Anaheim Ducks affiliate is the San Diego
yeah.
Gulls.
And
I'm going
1.
gut answer and saying 1 but number 3 sounds so fucking wrong.
Don't overthink it.
1 is the lie. It is the Anaheim Ducks.
That's a weird fact.
American League team.
It was like the 40s. There was a Canadian division when there's only like 3 Canadian teams, and the Eagles were in it. St. Louis.
Fair enough. All right.
The Utah Mammoth.
Clayton Keller is the leading goal scorer for last season. I don't know about that. The Utah Mammoth do not share an arena. Oh, okay. And then Dylan Gunther. They do share an arena.
Number 2 is a lie.
Number 2 is they lie, they share, and they're renovating it obviously to help the Mammoth viewers. We will go to the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, okay, Winnipeg Jets timer on. The biggest contract in history was given to Dustin Buffliff in 2015. They relocated from Atlanta, okay, and then Blake Wheeler was the captain before Adam Lowry.
Number 1 is a lie.
Number 1 is the lie. Connor Hellebuck is the highest paid player in history.
I think both Scheifele and Hellebuck, don't they have like almost identical contracts?
Yeah, they're close. They're like both in the 70s.
I'm going to say number 1, but I think I'm wrong.
Number 1 is the lie.
And the final team, the Vancouver
Famous
Canucks.
call. Alex Burrows slayed the Dragon in 2011. Yeah, that's definitely something you would remember and why you'd put it in here. A little long ago was the captain of the Canucks in 2008. Wait, he was the captain of the Canucks in 2008, 2009, becoming the first.
Daniel Sedin is the leader in points all time. They played forever. Is it Hendrick or is it Daniel? And would you put that just as a way to trip me up here?
Number 3 is lie.
3, 2, 1.
Number 3 is the lie. It's Hendrick.
Number 3 is the lie. It was Henrik Sedin, not Daniel Sedin. Let's count up the final total here.
I did much better in the West.
Yes, much better in the West.
Number 3 is correct.
Hey, I said I was going to do really bad and they would all just, because we did this before and they all felt like they were all true.
But overall, not a bad performance. I think that
Well, Babs, he's just smarter than me.
The Anaheim Ducks won 1 Stanley Cup. I fucking know that. How the fuck do I fumble that one? And then I got confused on the Leafs question. The Leafs guy doesn't get the Leafs one right. I apologize. I apologize to my father. We're filming this after Father's Day. I have disappointed him with the mistakes I made in this one. I'm going to be in piss.
All right, that concludes 2 Truths and a Lie. Babs wins 21 out of 32. Not the best score, some hard questions, but nonetheless, Babs wins. We'll see you next time.